Hello, everyone. I welcome you to another wonderful episode of The Ambassadors on Dove Television. My name is Mike Adekunle. The Ambassadors, as you all know, it's a program that is focusing on politics and governance. And I want to say a very special thanks to the Directorate of Politics and Governance under the Redeemed Christian Church of God. And of course, the entire leadership of Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria for supporting us on this program and for giving us a tap behind to move on. We really appreciate you and your words of encouragement. We've been receiving responses on our past episodes and questions and all that, but we just want to let you know that all your questions and agitations with time shall all be attended to, and we want to appeal to you to please keep watching this program as it comes to you every weekdays. That is Tuesday, 1 p.m. Nigerian time, and a repeat broadcast on Thursday, 11 p.m. Thank you, everyone. I want to appreciate those who have joined us on Zoom call. Thank you very, very, very much. We appreciate your time with us. When the time comes, we shall allow you to also be part of the conversation. God bless you. We will always want to receive feedback from you through phone lines and email address that you are seeing on your TV screen. Thank you. We appreciate you. Yeah, on the program today, we want to be looking at the sacrifice that we all need to pay for the betterment of our dear country, Nigeria, as making sure that we all go out to get our PVC. There was a time we were, campaigning and encouraging everyone to get themselves registered for PVC. Now you have gone through the rigors and the stress of getting yourself registered for PVC. Now that the PVC is ready, collection is also of utmost importance. You need to also get out to get your, PVC collected. Now, looking at that with us in the studio, I have two great gentlemen. They are wonderful ministers of God. They are pastors, as a matter of fact, and they are doing so well in politics with a whole lot of wealth of experience. It is my pleasure to introduce to us the immediate past vice chairman of Itire-Ekate local government under Lagos State, Nigeria, in person of Pastor Gbenga Oyebode, who is also pastor in charge of zone under Lagos Province 44 of RCCG. Good to have you with us, sir.
Good to have me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we appreciate your time with us.
God bless you, sir.
Thank you. All right, I'm sure very soon I will become like you and look at Evangelist Segun Okewo, our regular guest on the show, also the convener and the national coordinator of believers in politics. We welcome you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Pastor Mike. Thank you very much.
Now, all of you putting on cap, but look at my head.
Political cap.
That's what
Pastor's cap.
Oh,
so we are wearing political caps.
No problem. The Bible says we are kings and priests unto our God. Yes. I'm operating as a priest right now. Maybe very soon I'll be operating as kings, like you. Then my cap then will be a very tall one.
It's okay.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time with us.
My pleasure.
So,
my pleasure.
Quickly, without a delay, let's dive into what we have to discuss right now. Now, let's look at the sacrifice people need to pay to get in their PVC at different INEC offices. So what do you have to say to our people in making sure that they go get their PVC at this time?
Thank you once again for having us on the program. And I appreciate the Redeemed Christian Church of God, governance and political structure that they have put in. And I want to thank God for PFN, for the efforts they're also putting in to ensure that our people are registered and they perform their civic duty. I want to encourage our people that we should not do a last-minute rush. Already, INEC says now that their offices are empty. This was what we had when people were going to register, and last-minute rush that thousands of people want to do the same thing under many weeks. Now the cars are available. Let them go. Those that registered the last time, the cars are even available. So they should go to INEC offices in their various local government. There's no local government in Nigeria that doesn't have an INEC office. So they should go to their INEC offices to go and get their PVC. Those that have just registered and those that registered before now.
Okay. Have you been to any of these offices to check what is happening there?
Well, that's the truth. Most INEC offices are empty, as has rightly been reported. People are still lethargic. People are still have that apathetic attitude towards collecting their PVC. However, we must also appeal to INEC to go out of their offices. Okay. The usual practice is
they actually went out to do the registration.
Exactly.
They could also come out
should go out of their offices. We are talking about a nation where poverty is high. Now, in some local government, it will cost a voter an average of between 2,000 and 3,000 to get to the local government office of INEC. Yes. Where in this average Nigeria today, to ask somebody to spend 1,000 naira to go and get his voter's card is a tall order. So INEC must take the bull by the horns to also go out with the PVCs to the different polling units, make an announcement, have an arrangement with every state headquarters of INEC so that it will be announced that, okay, between this so-so date, we are going to so-so polling booths and we will distribute voters' card.
But don't you think there is nothing too much to pay to making sure that we get good governance in Nigeria as a sacrifice?
Sincerely speaking, yes, we will continue to preach that here. We will continue to ask people to make sacrifices, make efforts to go and get their voters' card. But between you and I can make that sacrifice. You can. Pastor can. We all can. But are we the only Nigerians here? There are people who have not eaten, they have not eaten a meal today.
And the 2,000 or 1,005 you are telling them to transport with could fix something on their table.
So if INEC does not do that, INEC will give opportunity to politicians to continue to help people. Now, if this continues now, this is what politicians will start to do. Okay. Arrange transportation for people to go to INEC office to go and collect their voters' card.
But I'm not cutting you.
Okay.
Even as a pastor, I've done that for my church members to mobilize them to the INEC offices. Just like Evangelist said, some of them may not be able to afford to go to the INEC office because it has to cost them something for them to get there. And just like you said, we should sacrifice to ensure that we get this card. So what we have done is to ensure that people we mobilize to register. Okay. We are encouraging them, we are assisting them by arranging transportation for them to go to the INEC offices. I know that there will be a time INEC will still go to the ward collation center. It may be difficult for them to go to unit by unit for them to go and distribute these cards because of security and a lot of other things that has to go with it. But I know that at the time they will go to the wards. But what we have done is to ensure that those that we have encouraged to register in our environment, to ensure that we assist them by taking them to the places to go and get their cards.
It's even better that people do that right now, not waiting till
when it will be rush time.
And do you want to tell us now that going there to get these things done is totally free of charge? There is no way of probably trying to exhaust people to making sure they pay.
And that's why our people must go now. Because when it gets to the time the rushing period, you know, there will be opportunity for people to extort people. Let me help you. Let me assist you. But now you go there, you get your card.
Okay. Can you help us make a sense of the need for voters' cards in voting period? Okay. Because some people might not attach value to it. Some people might want to get it for bank transactions. But help us make sure that we see that it's very important to what we are talking about.
As far as the political space is concerned, the voter's card is the last hope of the masses. The voter's card is the last hope of the electorate. I have taken time to say that, to do analysis to say that the voters we have in Nigeria, we have 3 voters. You know, remember the controlled voters, the conscience voters, and the commercial voters. The fact is that if people do not vote, if you do not vote, whether you like it or not, whether you vote or you don't vote, INEC will declare a result.
And just according to the conclusion of past studies in Sunday school, the Redeemed Christians of God Sunday School, a conclusion of a certain part says silence is also a vote.
That is it. You know. So if you don't vote, you are also encouraging you are encouraging rigging. You are encouraging the
Bad
man
governance.
you don't
Bad
want
governance,
to
yeah.
become the person, I mean, to become your leader. So if you really, really are interested in good governance, you must vote. You must vote.
Now, Pastor, you know, some people right now, especially youths, we see some of them, so many of them on social media, we've seen some of them on the streets, you know, and still so many are not ready to do anything. They've given hope on Nigeria. Nigeria is not going to be better again. Is there, what you have to say in a way of renewing hope in the faces of challenges and what we are facing in Nigeria, that a youth can still grasp something to say, this nation will still be better?
We don't have two nations. We can, no other nation in the world, some of us have traveled wide, and we know that you can never be treated the way you want treated in your own nation. Nigeria is our nation, is our country, is our Jerusalem, and we must do everything to ensure that we have good governance in Nigeria, beyond praying. And thank God for our fathers in ministry that have encouraged that we should encourage our people to register. So it is for them to get this voters card that will determine who becomes whatever we want in our nation. Either as a councillor, as a council chairman, as House of Assembly, as House of Reps, senator, governors, or president. So it is that card. Because for sake of discussion on the day of election, you have to be accredited to vote. And what are we going to use to accredit you without your voters card? So I want to please encourage our youths. I want to encourage, not only youths, there are some people that are complacent, they can not get better. Even old people that have seen this nation from the 60s, they have seen it up till now, and they have given up on Nigeria. So I want to encourage them, they should not give up on Nigeria. By the grace of God, our own prayer is that the will of God should come to pass 2023 in Nigeria.
Amen. Amen.
Let me also add that one of the challenges young people have about voting is that they believe votes will not count.
Will not count.
You know, I've had many young people say, oh, don't worry, votes will not count. They already know who is going to win. Then I put it to them, I said, now, do you think politicians are smart? They say, yes, politicians are smart. Fine. And politicians buy votes. They pay to buy votes. Okay. I said, don't you think something is missing here? Politicians are smart, and they are buying votes that will not count. If it will not count, why do politicians? They will not be spending money. They will not be buying it. So it makes sense to think that politicians are buying it because they know it will count. You who say it will not count, you are cheating yourself. They know it will count. That's why they are buying it. I've spoken to a lot of young people, and they've thought about it and said, yes, it's true. Why are they buying it if it will not count? And they say, yes, we will vote.
Are you saying of a surety that it will really count?
It will votes count. Let me.
Has it been counting in past elections?
Let me say this. Votes count.
Okay.
Votes count. A politician in the southwest Nigeria, an old politician, I don't want to mention names, said, you cannot rig elections where you are not popular.
That is true.
That you don't rig elections where you are not popular. Yes, there have been rigging, but the truth is that those who rig elections ride on the wings of the fact that they have gotten some votes. You cannot rig election where you don't get votes.
He's like a teacher who is marking a script, and a child who is getting maybe 8 over 100. Yes. How would you help that child to pass? 8 over.
INEC has gone a step further to let us know that our vote will count in 2023, and that they did in Ekiti. Yeah. That they did in Osun. Yeah. There's something they call beavers now.
Okay, I like you. I wanted to even ask you to tell us what has INEC put in place to make sure that, away from the usual, what has been put in place?
They have an electronic way of counting the votes now. Okay, there's something they call the beavers I'm talking about is the bimodal voters accreditation system, in which after voting, these voters, where they counted the votes, they will just snap it and send it to their portal. So there's no need for them to carry they will still carry the physical paper to the collation center. But already they have that machine that they will just snap. Once they snap it, it has gone on INEC portal that anybody can go to and check the result of every unit in Nigeria.
So whatever has happened or whatever happened
in any of the voting centers transmits to that portal.
So is that in a way talking about electronic transmission of results?
That is it.
Okay.
That is it. So it's now that electronic machine that will now collate and add all the results together while they are doing the physical thing to do the announcement.
Yeah.
That is what is on ground now. So INEC has done that to also encourage Nigerians that your vote we can't. That they are practiced in Ekiti, that they are practiced in Osun, and that we expect to happen. So it's making rigging difficult for people
Very
to do.
difficult.
Very, very difficult.
Oh, good. So,
So we encourage our people
Yeah.
on the day of election, just like we have said, normally it's between 8 and 2.
Okay.
You go for accreditation.
Yes.
And once you go for accreditation, you must go with your voter's card. You can't go to the farm without your tools.
hose.
You can't go to the school without your pen. So you go with your voter's card. You do the accreditation. Those that are online between 8 and 2 are the people that they were allowed to vote. So if you are not there, and now they have created new polling units, additional polling units.
Okay.
So you must make sure that even before the day of the election, you are sure of where your polling unit is.
Okay, that's what.
And that is
people
why
need to
you must also
know.
go early to ensure that, anyway, they are going to do display of voters register before the election. So at that time, you'll be able to go and check where your voting centers and voting units are.
Possibly even on this program, we are going to have an INEC official who will also tell us more, what we need to do per time so that nobody is disenfranchised, even on that.
That would
day.
be nice.
Oh, very good. So let us now move into the issue of prayers. INEC will not count prayer points. They will count votes. Should we still pray as Christians? For Nigeria, concerning elections, concerning governance and all that, do we need prayer? Let me start from you as a pastor.
We need to pray. We need to pray. Bible says,
In all things.
Pray without
that's, no, not even pray without ceasing now. That righteousness exalts a nation. The Bible also encourages that sin is a reproach to any nation.
Yeah.
So if you want right people to be in the right place, we need to pray. And the Bible says, if my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek the face of God. So there's need for prayer. Nothing happens physically without God settling it spiritually. So there's need for a place of prayer, for us to pray for the right person to be there. So prayer is key. We need to pray, but beyond prayers, we also need to, because some things we need to do for ourselves, God will not do it for us.
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
What we need to do for ourselves, God will give you appetite. You have to eat the food. God will
gives the appetite.
provide the sleep. God will give you sleep, but you have to lie down on the bed. So there's need for us to pray, and there's need for us to physically and practically act to ensure that we vote.
Yeah, definitely, the scripture says faith without work is
dead.
So our prayer will have to go in line
with
action.
our actions,
We
yes.
must act action to what we do. Okay, let's now move straight into the high points of our discussion. A memo came out from your office under the PFN, right? The Directorate of Governance and Politics under PFN. What people need to look out for in voting. And in that memo, you said that people should not look at ethnicity, religion, tribes, and all that. What should people look out for? We got in a number of candidates right now, contesting and jostling for this particular post, the number one position, of the country. So what should we look out for in voting come 2023?
Thank you very much. This is, of course, you are correct. This is the high point of it all. Who should we vote for? And what are the things that we will consider? Number one, we must consider interest. And what is the basic interest of every citizen of the country? Survival. Survival is the basic interest of every one of us. And so if we're looking at a candidate, you must look at a candidate who will ensure the survival of the nation. A candidate who will ensure that basic amenities are provided for the people. We will not look at a candidate based on, well, is it from my ethnic consideration? Is it from my ethnic tribe? Or is it from my tribal sentiment? That cannot work in Nigeria. We must look out for a candidate, and that's why we must consider their manifestos. The time has come for Nigerians to look at manifestos. What is this man and his party out to do? Apart from that, we also
What
must
should we
consider,
look out for in the manifesto? Because when
I've talked about it. Survivor. The average Nigerian is not asking for too much from the governor. From the government. the average Nigerian is not looking out for too much. Survival of myself as a person, defense, safety. Survival,
That's speaking
safety.
to security.
Yes, when I say survival, I'm talking about safety. I'm talking about food. I'm talking about common necessities of life, light, water, roads. These are the things people are asking. That's why I said the Nigerian is not asking for too much from governors. So the ability for me to practice my religion without fear. I'm a Christian. I should not be apologetic for being a Christian. Okay, if you choose to be a Muslim, you should not be apologetic for being a Muslim. There must be freedom of religion. So any candidate that will not ensure the freedom of religion, if we have a sense that this candidate will not ensure the freedom of religion, come 2023, you can't vote for a man who will not ensure the safety of my personality, the safety of my business, the safety of my faith and religion.
All right, I would like you to weigh into this. Thank you for what you have really spoken. But then, as a politician and an experienced one for that matter, signboards lie. If you see a signboard at the junction or at the main road, or we have social facility, we have, when you get there, you realize that it's nothing but just mere manifestos lie. Politicians, I believe politicians to be liars. Are you going to assure us, what should we look out for to ensure that what has been written in the manifesto is actually what they are going to do and will be done? We've read manifestos in time past. We've seen manifestos in time past.
And that's why we must look at the candidates and look at their antecedents.
Okay.
What have they done before? What have they achieved before? We must also look at their capacity. We must look at their character. We must look at a lot of things. Are they capable of doing what they promised us they want to do? Beyond that, when you were this, what were you able to do? These are things we have to look at. When you were a governor, when you were a vice president, when you were a senator, what were you able to do? Were you able to affect the life of the people? What are the things you are able to put on the table for people to now want to return you to an higher office? These are the things we should also look at beyond the survival of the people, because just like you said, manifestos lies. We have listened to manifestos before. We have listened to promises before. Promises that has failed. Are you tested? Are you trusted? What are you ready to offer? And what are you ready to put on the table?
All right, you mentioned character, competence, antecedents. How do we measure some of these things? Some of these leaders are not that approachable. Many of them are not even ready to be engaged in productive conversations. They believe in, some even said debates don't win elections. They believe in campaigns and all that. And on campaign grounds, they go there to do all manner of things, say all manner of jamborees and incisive statements and words and all that. How do we engage them to really ascertain the fact that what this person is saying he will do, he will do?
Like I said before, what has he done before? Because if you have done something before, there's tendency for you to be able to do it again. Okay. And thank God the principal candidates we have now, they have been somewhere before. We should be able to weigh them side by side. What have they been able to do before? And beyond that, we must also pray, like we have said before, for God to now choose for us, so that on the day of elections, people will turn the heart of people to the right place for us to be able to have a good governance in our country. When you talk about competence, when you were this, were you able to do what you said you were going to do? What were the things that you have been able to do in the time past? All these things are very, very important for us to consider who becomes the next president of the nation.
All right, we are due for a break right now, but then when we come back from the break, we are going to stray this particular memo very well and educate our people on what they need to focus on, because this is very, very important. All right, viewers, we shall observe a short break, and by the time we come, we will continue, and those on Zoom will have the opportunity to weigh in on their opinions. Thank you. Watch The Ambassadors on Dove Television as we take you through the rudiments and fundamentals of politics and good governance, and how you can be involved. The Ambassadors is showing every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Nigerian time. Welcome back. It is still The Ambassadors on Dove Television, where we talk about politics and governance. as concerning Nigeria, our dear country. Great appreciation to Dove Television and the entire crew for ensuring that this program becomes a source of learning and education to as many who have been blessed so far. Special thanks also to my wonderful guests in the studio, Pastor Gbenga Oyebode. Thank you so much, and Evangelist Kolade Segun Okeowo. We really appreciate you. All right, before we went on the break, we were looking at 2023. There is need for us to get our mind ready, our mind prepared. Now, I would like you to speak to our viewers, the need for them to get themselves ready. We've been talking about getting PVC, and getting PVC is not even enough. Going out to vote and getting to know who to vote. So help me combine these three, like we've talked about it before, but a way of, capping it before we allow our Zoom audience.
Okay, one of the information that our audience at home must know is that we have a record in Nigeria as one of the worst cases of political apathy in the world. Nigeria has one of the lowest rate of political consciousness when it comes to voting, and that must change.
Good.
So if we are looking for one of the problems Nigerian citizens have, why we have this kind of political climate we have, is because our rate of consciousness to political reasoning is very low. And that's why Nigeria is rated as one of the highest cases of election voters apathy in the world. I was doing a research recently, and I came across those facts. The apathy is worst. It was one of the worst cases in Nigeria. Wow. A situation where, for example, you have in a constituency, and you have voters ranging to, the list of voters is about 52,000. I have a case of the constituency like that. 52,000 voters registered to vote in that constituency. And there were about 4 major political parties that took part in that election. By the time the election was concluded, the number of votes for all the parties was just a little about 10,000. Wow. Out of 52,000 voters. The winner went home with 4,100 votes. Now, what does that mean? It translates to the fact that minority voted that man into office.
To govern more than
is to govern 52,000 people. It's not even 52,000 people.
But
there are other people.
The registered
voters. He is to govern over 52,000 registered voters, but he got into office with only 4,000.
Less than 10%.
100 votes.
Wow.
And INEC has no choice than to declare him winner because he has scored the highest votes. That's a terrible one. That's a terrible one. So we must tell our people, until we come to a point in Nigeria where voters can look at politicians in the face and say, you, 4 years to come. In the next 4 years, we're going to deal with you. And the politicians knows truly that these people will deal with me. Until we get to that point, we will just continue to rigmarole in the circle.
But do you feel there could be a change of narratives by 2023?
Definitely. With what we are seeing presently, with everybody's interest, with the engagement of all the governments, political parties, the engagement of the INEC Christian community, even the other communities. Every community is ensuring they are talking to their people to ensure that things must just change in Nigeria. We can't just continue like this. And I want to believe that apathy will change come the next election. Right. But we just have to continue to talk to our people. Just at every local level, at every joint, at every of our churches, in our families.
Yes.
You as a father, because you discover that even as a pastor, your children are not registered. And they are over 18. So I told my children, before your allowance, let me see your voter's card. So until it gets to that level, before we know where we are going. And we must also ensure that on the day of election, we just don't go to the units or the centers. We must go with our families. Ensure that your wife, your children, they also follow you to the polling centers to go and ensure that they vote. Okay. And you must also sit down with your vote to ensure that your vote counts.
Yeah, very, very well. Then, those of our participants now on Zoom, it's time for you now to join us. Please, if you have any question or opinion to share on this subject we've been looking at, please kindly indicate your interest and we allow you to start talking to us right now. Already I have Mr. Olani Yusuf. Yeah, Olani Yusuf and Sharon Alade. Sharon Alade, please, if you are ready to speak to us now, you can unmute yourself and let's hear from you.
My name is Olani Yusuf. So I have a few questions, and the questions relate to Nigerian youth, how we see the contestants to different positions around the country. We talk about the legislators and the executive. So now we have people in this race that are saying that, okay, this is my age, and we also have a different age in reality. So, for example, we have a presidential candidate that has a particular age on Wikipedia, and some people are coming up and saying, no, this is not his real age. And a lot of people are still saying that his age is not okay. Now, when we look at what he has done, particularly in the state where he has governed before, we see a track record, but a lot of people do not still want to fall in line with this achievement. And there, there are influences around us as youth, and we are tempted to fall to this pressure, the question now to our guests in the house is, what are your advices? What do you advise Nigerian youths? Because Nigerian youths make larger percentage of the population. So what do you have to say to this? And second question relates to PVC. So we have what they call beavers, right? So beavers, how does these beavers actually operate? Because I'm not sure we have had it, we have had any election like general election with beavers before. So I like you to just please give us more understanding on this. Thank you.
Thank you. He spoke there to age, to how do I put it now? Agility, the strength, the capability, physical capability of candidates. Are these also very in line with the track records, the character we have spoken earlier? So what do you have to say in this regard?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. It is not for us here to recommend any candidate or to disabuse the minds of anybody concerning any candidate. But let's look at what the Constitution says. The Constitution recognizes the fact that once you are a particular age, there's an entry age into the presidential race. There is no exit age. Okay. The Constitution does not say if you are above a certain this particular age, you can no longer contest. So it cannot be a constitutional matter. It can only be a sentimental matter to say, oh, this man is old or this person is of age, you should go and sit down. It's purely sentimental.
Do you mean it's an issue of sentiment? When the youth says, they want somebody youthful.
It is. It is. My father will say, the young shall grow, the old shall gray. The young shall grow, the old shall gray. You cannot say because the young will grow, the old should die. Don't forget, the young will also become old. Okay, there was a time I was young. I was a teenager. I grew up to become 40 years. Now I am above 50. There will come a time I will become 82. So there's nothing that says when a man is above a particular age, he is no longer useful to the nation. There's a place for age. There's a place for wisdom. There's a place for experience. There's a place for agility. There are certain things agility can do. There are certain things age, wisdom, experience can also do. So I am not speaking for anybody. But the Constitution does not say that once you are of a particular age, you are now disqualified. So it is a sentimental issue to say that somebody is of a particular age. Therefore, this is what the youth should do. Nobody gives power because you are young. Power is not served
A la carte.
a la carte. Power is not served on the table. You grab it. In other countries of the world where young people are ruling,
yeah.
they didn't look at them and say, come and become our president because you are,
Because
young.
you are young.
Nobody did that. Power is not given to anybody because he's young. They didn't say, oh, we want young people, so come because you are young. No. It is because of their participation.
Okay.
It is because they are proving themselves. So the Nigerian youth should stop this philosophy of it is our turn. Let young people take over. No, nobody will tell young people to take over. Nobody will stop young people, and nobody will say, come and take over because you are young. You will take over because you are available, you are capable. What is the involvement of young people in politics? If the involvement will be limited to give us money, give us this, give us that, then the youth are
Then
not going
no.
anywhere.
Okay, I'd like it to...
Even beyond that,
Yes.
the candidates, in the last election we had young candidates.
Yes, in the last election, yeah.
They were not voted for. The number of votes that these young people
Yeah.
had was not enough to even make some of them council chairmen, let alone president of Nigeria. Participation in politics starts with being active politically in political parties,
Exactly.
in ensuring that candidates that are chosen already, you have a hand in it. And you must be a delegate. Look at what happened
To have a hand,
in all the last primaries. The youngest person in one of the political parties did not even have the capacity in terms of other things that has to go with logistics to ensure that somebody becomes the candidate of a party. So it goes beyond the sentiment, just like the evangelist has mentioned. It goes beyond that sentiment. And the age is a thing of the mind. The president of America today, what is his age? The one that just resigned from UK today could not, only ruled for how many weeks?
40 something
A
days.
young person that couldn't have the capacity, that means there's no capacity. Because it goes beyond the energy it goes beyond the energy to run around. It goes, look at our father in the Lord, the general overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. He's over 80 years, but he's still mingling with the youth, the age. Capacity, that's capacity.
Not
the
age.
grace. It's not about age. So the sentiment about age should be put aside, and while we will also look at other things that goes beyond the age and the health issue. Health is not death. Somebody will not be sick and can die that same day. While somebody will just manage his health and live about 100 years. We have seen that happen. And talking about the second question that he mentioned about
the
beavers,
beaver,
the
yes.
beavers thing, beavers is a new technology that INEC has just introduced. And I want to tell you, it doesn't accredit
Okay.
the number of votes that number of people. There's no way you can type, on it.
Okay.
That's what I want to say. It accredits. It's a bimodal accreditation, voters accreditation system. It snaps. You can only snap with it.
Okay.
It's just like your phone. You want to snap with it, but you cannot type on it. And that is why the elections cannot be manipulated. You only snap, and once you snap, you send to the portal already. Result is sent already electronically.
How do we ensure it is sent?
That's why the party has agents.
Oh, good.
All the parties will have agents, and that's talking about structure that we always talk about. How many of these candidates have structure?
Across polling units.
Across the polling units we have in
379,000
polling units. If you have that vote alone, you are getting somewhere.
Yeah.
Some of our candidates in the last election, they didn't have 10% of that. And we want to become president. So all I'm saying in essence is that the agents will be able to ensure that they snap and it was sent.
Okay.
That's just the work of the agents. And you can't be an agent and you get to the polling unit late. You must be there from the beginning of the vote until the end of the. And beyond the one that is sent, you must also follow the electoral officer to the collation centers where they will go and submit the hard copy.
Okay.
Let me also chastise young people a little. I don't like to use the word chastise, but let me say that
Like a way of correcting us.
exactly. Let's correct ourselves. Shouting in protest, shouting in against the government, or making noises does not change things the way they expect. Let me give an example. The End SARS protest has a good intention.
Yes.
But if the same energy that was mustered for the End SARS project was mustered or is mustered towards voting, you can vote out a government you don't want. Now, a few weeks after that voting, after the End SARS protest took place, Lagos State had a senatorial election.
Oh.
And the polling booths were literally empty. Empty. Why didn't these End SARS youth go and say, we will go and vote against the government that we are angry with? Why don't you go and unleash that anger at voting centers? You go and unleash anger, shout, do all of that.
Destroy our Commonwealth.
Destroy Commonwealth and all of that. You see, I believe in protesting against government. I'm a product of protest.
And of course, protest is a lawful.
Yes, it's okay. It's lawful. My father, my late father, is an apostle of protest. He led the famous Ali Must Go in 1978. So I understand what it means to lead protest and what have you. But the truth is this: beyond the realm of protest, involvement in governance is a better way of protesting. Involvement in governance and doing the right thing is a better way of protest. So it is not just good enough to protest and then there's election and you abandon the polling booth. And abandoning the polling booth is not wise, because you abandon the polling booth, your enemy will go and vote, and then we produce a candidate or a winner that will rule over you. And whatever that political ruler dictates or says, according to the rules of the constitution, according to the rules of the land, according to the dictates of the constitution, becomes the law, and you have to abide. Even God advises, or even God commands us to obey the rulers.
All right, let's go back to the Zoom now. Sharon Alade, please, are you ready to speak to us right now? Or Titi Idowu, any of you who is ready to speak to us, please, over to you now.
I have two issues that I practically would want our guests to help me put across. And the first is, as regards the Liz Truss of Britain's resignment, I would say one thing. Yeah, it might be a little bit odd for her to have resigned, but then I respected her courage to resign, knowing fully well that probably the way she had planned to establish her government, or the way she had planned to make her run-ins, did not actually go with what she foresaw or what she thought. Now, the question is, how many people can do that in a country we call ours, like Nigeria? Because I've seen a lot of failures. The people definitely need to admit to a lot of failures. Like the present government in power, the APC, trust me, APC has not really delivered on what they promised to Nigerians. And it's so surprising that they still have the guts, they still have the effrontery, they still have everything to come out and still say they need more time.
Titi Idowu.
All right, thank you. So particularly Evangelist Okeowo. Now, you take it from me that one of the dilemma of Christians is that we are not involved in the grassroots politics. Now we've been canvassing that people go and join party, but we see the arrangement is skewed against us. Party meeting are fixed in the dead of the night. Sometimes they deliberately fix party meeting for Sundays when they know Christians will not be a serious Christian will not be able to make it. How do we go around all these obstacles that are deliberately set up against Christians? I know, sir, that you are a politician and you are pushing your weight. How have you been able to manage all these challenges?
Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's create time for them to really respond to these wonderful opinions of yours. All right, where should we start from? Let's start from, both of you are real politicians and you are pastors, ministers of God. So how are you able to manage, through all these challenges?
Well, the second speaker did mention that they are doing things against us. They are fixing meetings in the dead of the night and all of that. Of course, not all political meetings are held in the dead of the night.
Okay.
I think one of the problems we've had over the years is that we have created some imaginary fears.
Fear, okay, fear, yes.
And one of the imaginary fears is what our brother has expressed now. Meetings are held in the dead of the night. Who says? Who says?
Not at all.
Who says?
Not at all, or not usually.
It's only at a level that they do meetings at the dead of the night.
Exactly.
You must be at the level of leadership.
Exactly.
And politics is not just only about leadership. You must start from somewhere. Ward meetings are fixed in
I have
the...
never been part of a ward meeting in the dead of the night.
Or an AGA meeting. It's only leadership or caucus
We are
meeting
talking
that are done at that level.
of meetings in the dead of the night. Those meetings hold in the dead of the night out of necessity, not because they choose.
Not that they are
These are
sacrosanct.
also human beings now.
Yeah.
They are also human beings who have health challenges, who have health problems, who don't want to have meetings in the dead of the night. But when necessity demands that they hold meeting in the, don't we?
Our pastors not holding
Our
meetings
pastors
at
I
night.
wonder.
don't we hold meetings in the dead of the night when necessity demands. And listen, politics is a game of number. If you are sitting down at home, some people have been in a party, they have become the lords of the party, and you come there today and you want them to change. Can anybody come to the Redeemed Christian Church of God today and tell us not to hold our digging deep on Tuesday? Who is that person that will come and tell us not to be holding our meeting? For that person to tell us to change our digging deep from Tuesday to Monday, that person must have taken time.
Yeah.
He must have risen to the
A
very...
governing council.
Exactly.
Yes. That's why I
When you
decided
can-
to come to leadership.
so that is the same thing in politics. You just join them today and you want to change. And who are you? You are just one, maybe two, three. But why don't you go to the ward meeting? How many people hold ward meetings in any case? Few people. When you go to a ward meeting, you meet 50 people. Pata, you meet 60, 70. The day you meet 100, 200 people in a ward meeting, they want to share
Probably
rice.
they want to share something.
They want to share rice.
All right, let's because of our time, let's
Yes.
talk to the issue of people in power not doing well as expected and still begging us to bring
we
them back.
voted them in.
Yes.
The present government came in 2015. We voted him in. Another 2019 he came again and we voted him in. So we have another opportunity in 2023 for us to vote. People get the kind of government they vote in. It was not rigged in. It was not forced in. And talking about the particular person, because it's talking about the present government, so I must address on the issue of the present government. The candidate of the present candidate of the present government has never been a minister. He has said he has never been a contractor. He only assisted because that was the yearning of Nigerians as at that time.
Okay.
They were yearning for a change and they have gotten the change. So the man is just coming out after being the governor of Lagos State 1999 to 2007.
Okay.
And it's just coming out again to offer himself for service. So it's either we want to accept him
or
or
not.
we don't want to. And that is why it is important for us to ensure that we come out on the day of election and check the records of all the people that are contesting and we go for the best.
You have said that earlier.
And then I also want to say that Nigerians, we must learn to differentiate between parties and candidates.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to
Over
say
the
that.
years, we have been deceived by parties. Bad candidates have hidden under parties
to win
to
elections.
win elections. We don't check. We just come up and say, I hate this party. I love this party. You love the party. What about the candidate? What about the person? What about the personality? So the 2023 election, if we're going to be wise in Nigeria, it will not be about
Should
party.
not go in line of parties.
It will not be about party. It will be about the personality. Who is the person that we're talking about? So the fact that I'm angry with a party does not mean I will not vote for the candidate of that party. If the candidate of that party is, it's about the candidate. It's not about I've been a
That's
party
about
politician.
individual
It's
now,
about
not
the
about
it's important.
It's about the individual. And we must get involved. Pastor said something the other time that you are not involved in the party. See, the reason why a lot of people are apathetic towards election is because by the time we are voting, more than 70% of the decision has been taken at the primary level.
primary level.
They have chosen candidates for you. So willingly, you have no choice than to vote for the candidates that have been chosen.
I went to minister in a church on Christian in politics.
Okay.
Before the last election.
Okay.
And I said the two candidates are available are from a particular tribe. The two major candidates, the 2019 election,
Yes, you are right, sir.
were from the same tribes.
Same
so you
tribe,
have to choose one out of them. And how do you do that? You have to check out.
And you don't have choice.
You don't have
just
choice
to choose one.
because already they are candidates of the party.
And it's
So this
like-
election is not about the party. It's not about ethnicity. It's not about religion.
Yeah.
It's about competence,
Personality.
personality, just
Personality,
like
the competence, the character, and just a way of running through what can pushed out here for us to look at in a way of guiding us for our elections come 2023, that we will also assess the candidates' stand on the following issue. Assess your candidates on these following issues: issue of religions and neutrality of the Nigerian state, rather. Muslim ticket, Christian candidate is not acceptable. Enforcement of fundamental rights of all Nigerians. Implementation of restructuring, devolution of powers, decentralization of governance, equitable and enforceable sharing of executive offices, equal ethnic and religious representations in military and security agencies, self-determination for all Nigerian people, no to Ruga, yes to ranching, no open grazing, rather modernization of animal husbandry, qualitative education and free healthcare to all Nigerians, including Amajeris, enforcement of federal characters in all public institutions, natural resources, including water resources, to belong to those that own the land. Can ask for too much, yes or no?
They have not.
Definitely no.
Definitely
These
no.
are basic requirements that anybody should ask for at this stage of our lives.
On this note, I want to really thank you. We're out of time already. Thank you so much. Evangelist Scholar Deshego Okeowo, rather, thank you for your time with us. And Pastor Gbenga Oyebode, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you to all of our viewers on Zoom. Thank you for your contribution. We don't have time to take contribution from every one of you on Zoom. Please permit us, probably next time, do well to join us. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you. My name is Mike Adekunle. Bye for now.